Welcome, welcome, guys. I am back. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get this show started. We are recording now. I just realized I talked for like 20 minutes and I wasn't recording anything. So we're here. It's Unico. All you can do is smile, baby. We are back, guys. I do appreciate you coming in and hearing our show. If you remember what we talked about, this is Unico Title, and we are a show that talks about title and escrow. We do cover several other topics like real estate, life, and all in between. I am gonna be getting a little more in depth in our conversations. I'm gonna take it a little bit more easier in my talks to you guys. I do feel like the first couple shows I felt rushed. I felt like I was kind of doing it too fast. But I've kind of learned from other podcasters, and obviously, as you know, I am a big fan of Joe Rogan, and I follow his show all the time. Which, if you haven't seen the Billy Carson show, oh my god, what? Yeah, I don't know who Billy Carson is. Billy Carson, people, come on, let's do this. Y'all know who this is, man. This is Unico Title. Let's do this. All right, so we're here. We're gonna talk about real estate today. If you guys are with me, please give me a thumbs up, give me a follow, give me a like. Our topic of the day today is loan approvals, loan conditions, loan processing. How do I apply? How do I get approved? Why do they ask me so many things? Why do I have to send all this paperwork? Why do I keep getting all these emails and calls in the middle of my workday to try to get documents to the lender? Why does it take so long to get a response? Why do they never answer the phone? Why I always feel like my loan is at the end? All that, all right? So remember who we are, Unico Title. I just want to give you a heads up. If you're asleep, wake your ass up. All right, cool. So, you know what, guys? I just got to remind you real quick who we are. That's right, baby. Cool. Okay, before I get more music censored. I play this so they don't censor my music. All right, anyway. Loan processing, loan approvals. Thank you for tuning in. So, guys, have you ever had to apply for a home loan? Have you ever done a home loan processing or home loan process for buying? Anyway, what my intent to you today is for you to learn a couple of pointers and also to get an idea of what is needed when they ask you for a loan approval, and basically, trying to guide you for the home buying process. Okay. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Roberto Perez. This is Ixul Talks, Unico Title. And I just want to clarify again, and I will be doing this every show. Unico Title, guys, is a liaison company for Sendera Title. I came up with the idea of branding my name as Unico Title because in the past I've had to change companies. A couple of times. So then I figured instead of telling people, hey, I'm at this title company now, that's what they really hear whenever you tell them you've changed companies. So I want them to remember me for Unico Title. So that's who I am. And that's who I will be. And that's who I will become. Hey, can you get to the topic of the show, please? Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything. All right. So loan processing. Basically, what I was talking about is I just acquire a property, an investment home, another one, and I went through a DSCR loan. So what is a DSCR loan? A DSCR loan is basically an investor loan. It's going to be something that you're going to be getting approved through by showing your income. Okay, so let's dig into it. All right. So a DSCR loan, basically what it is an investment loan, and what they do is they take the value of the home that you're buying, they do a market study and see what the rents are on that area, and they are going to give you the loan based on that rental income for that property. Now, there's a couple of things that have to go that have to fall in place before they do approve you for that loan. But for the most part, you got to remember these loans are super cool. I think because they don't require any sort of income. They don't require any sort of employment per se. Obviously, if you're an investor, you're not like employed by anyone. You're probably just self-employed and you're just flipping homes or doing whatever in the real estate market. But they don't require you to have like some sort of monthly income, right? Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get approved on that loan for that house if the rental income for the house can pay your mortgage loan. Okay, so what are some of the advantages of that? Well, obviously, there's no. I mean, there's a score requirement, a credit score requirement. You do have to have at least like 650, I think, which myself, I have like an $800,000 score. So I don't worry about that. But obviously, there's people out there that do. And you guys that worry about it, well, I can help you. Get at me, cuz. So anyhow, let's keep talking about the loan. So what I did here is I applied for this loan, and they asked me. Obviously, I did it through a loan officer, reputable loan officer here in Dallas. And I did the application on his online, profile. They do ask you for any history of rental or flipping or property investments that you have in the last 2 years. How many have you done? They're gonna ask you for tax returns. What kind of business are you doing? Like if you're doing, rentals, or if you're doing flips, or if you're a real estate agent and whatnot. I mean, obviously, you're gonna do your taxes, and they're gonna go off for the last 2 years. Okay. These loans are for properties that you're gonna buy and hold. Okay. For the most part, if you're trying to do just a quick flip, you may want to go through like a Harmony lender. But if you're trying to buy and hold for a rental property, then the DSCR loans are the way to go. So, welcome to the fucking news. This is your friend Unico Title. um, I'm trying to get with people to explain to me if they've had bad experiences with loan officers or loan processors and things like that. I want to get feedback. So if you're listening and then you've had a bad experience with a loan officer, I don't want you to tell me who. I'm just trying to find out what happened and if you think there could have been steps that got done or didn't get done or could have been done before to avoid any unfortunate situations. Okay. So once I applied with him online, it's a he. He gives me an estimate, like approval and everything, and he's like, okay, yeah, we can probably get it done. We're gonna ask you for conditions, and we're gonna submit the file. Okay, so obviously, the things that you're gonna need um, before all that is you're gonna want to have the items that I told you, like the tax returns. They're gonna ask you to send in bank statements. They're gonna at least need, the last 3 months of your bank statements. If you are taking the application under a business name, they're gonna ask you for all that and for all your personal stuff. If you got 40 businesses, they're gonna ask you for probably all the 40 businesses, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get it, but they anyway. So they ask you for all that. Yes, is that frustrating? And then they go in and they come back with more conditions, and they're gonna ask you basically everything that's on your bank statement. They're gonna look at it and say, why is this, why is that, and why is the other, and you gotta explain it. Any money movements and stuff like that, you have to explain where the money came from, why is the money going out, why is the money coming in. And basically what I'm trying to get to is, if your processor is a good processor, or if your loan officer is a good loan officer, I think that they have experienced this type of loans before, and they should know exactly like what documents to ask you. And all I'm saying is basically it would make it a lot easier if these loan officers would ask you the stuff up front and everything all together. Now you're gonna probably come back and say like, well, it's different every time. I know it's different every time. I know loans vary, but I mean, come on. If, for example, if you're asking people for a bank statement, right? And you know that if you have a business account and a personal account, you're going to ask which bank statement you want. Okay. So they come back and ask you or and tell you, okay, well, send me your personal bank statement. Okay. So you send the personal bank statement. And then you think, okay, it's cool. And then it comes back like 2 days later and they're like, oh, well, now we need your business bank statement, business account bank statement. Okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. We just spoke, right? We just spoke 2 days ago, and you asked me for the bank statement, and obviously you knew I had a business and you knew I had a personal account because I told you that, and you only told me to send you you only told me to send you the personal account. So sometimes I'm like, you knew we needed both statements. Why didn't you ask me 2 days ago for both statements, bank, personal and bank business? That's what I'm trying to get. So if you had a bad experience and you know what I'm talking about, raise your hand. Sorry, I didn't want to hear. I didn't want to cough on that mic. Anyway, other thing is, like, for example, if you have a loan officer that you're working with for the first time, and maybe you got put there because your agent works with him, but you as a buyer don't work with him, have never worked with him, or obviously you don't know who the person is probably. It is important that you get them on the phone. It is important that you get them on the phone, talking to you through the process, giving you feedback, giving you updates, and making sure that you're following through with what everything they're saying they're going to do. Okay? Because there could be situations where the loan officer, he's experienced, he knows what he's doing, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, guys, we sometimes end up being just a number on their desk. Okay? And it's unfortunate to say, I mean, it's happened to the best of us, but sometimes we get sidetracked and we are probably in a comfortable position to say, oh, it's going to be fine. It'll get done, but I have my team working on it or whatever, and we lose sight of maybe that one file or that one client, and then shit starts falling behind, and you're not keeping up with the dates and everything that you have to do on time, and that closing could be delayed because of your loan officer, right? So I mean, I don't care how experienced you are. I think whoever you're working with, you should accept the calls from your buyers and check in with them as well. Make it a routine because obviously there's times where we all get busy and get sidetracked, right?
I'll clean up number 13, please.
So all I'm saying, guys, is follow up with your own officers. Please do your due diligence on your own as well, because there could be a situation, for example, where let's say you're already in the contract, you've been a week or two in the contract, you've got all the conditions that your loan officer asked you. Because obviously, if I didn't mention this, they ask you for all your personal stuff, all right? Your social security number, your social security card, your ID. Um, I mean, they take a Q-tip, swab it in your mouth, and do a COVID test too. They ask you what type of blood are you, if you got a kid, if you got a trust, if you have a trust fund baby. They ask you all kinds of shit. I mean, all kinds of. Anyway, after all that, there's always gonna be a time where people go silent, right? The agent goes silent on you, the loan officer goes silent on you, the title company goes silent on you, and you think that nothing's happening, you think nothing's going on, but obviously there's stuff behind the scenes that you're not seeing as a buyer. For example, one of them is the appraisal, right? You you have to kind of wait about a week or so to get the appraisal back. And there's also, I mean, home inspections get done at the beginning, the first like 7 days. The appraisal gets done a little after that. And that's also something you have to pay out of pocket. I want to make that clear. Buyers do pay appraisals out of pocket, and they pay them up front. It's not like they wait until closing. You have to pay those now. On average, nowadays are about $600 to $800. When I started back in the day, they were only about $300. So you know that tells you what inflation does. So about $600 you have to pay up front because the appraisal has to be done. Now, where I was trying to get to is, if your loan officer is sidetracked and it's not on top of the shit, they're not gonna order the appraisal on time, and that could cause your deal to fail. It could cause your deal to die. It could cause you not to close on time. It could cause that you have to have an extension on the contract, and sometimes the sellers don't want to give it to you. Remember, these are deadlines. You got a certain deadline to close, so you gotta stay up on top of everything. I've had a situation where I've known of people that are under contract, and obviously as the title company, you see these, this type of examples. That's why I'm able to speak about it. And it's not a personal transaction. It's not anyone you know or I know. Well, obviously I know them, but it's not someone in the close circle of friends that I have. But anyway, what happened is they went under contract. Supposed to be a cut dry loan type of deal. Buyer well approved. 750 plus score. Good income. Um, Good funds. Money in the bank. Day 8, and we're almost about 2 weeks to close, and I just happened to follow up as the escrow officer with the loan officer, And basically, I asked where we were, if I could get an update on the transaction. And the reply from the loan officer was, "Oh, I'm glad you reached out to me. I just remember I have to order the appraisal." It's like, wake the up. That's what I said. Seriously. That's what I told him. And that's not a good answer, first of all, for a loan officer to respond to a title company. But it just made me realize how fucking dumb some people are sometimes. I mean, to each his own, yeah, sure. But I just felt it was very unprofessional. Anyway, who am I to judge? I'm over here cussing in my podcast. So that was the deal. They did not cancel the deal, but it created a whole mess because now the buyer is behind about a week. That at that point the appraisals were on that time the appraisals were taking like 2 weeks. Everybody was super busy. Everyone wanted to close. Then this caused a delay. The seller got mad. Obviously, they worked it out. They had to have the buyer bring in additional earnest money to secure the transaction. But then obviously it all worked out, closed at the end. But had I not emailed that person, had I not been the one getting feedback or update, then that fucking shit would have hit the fan. So that's what a good loan escrow officer does for you. So please holler at me. I am with Sendera Title. I work under Unico Title as my branding name. My name is Roberto Perez. And here we go. All right, guys, let's get this topic going. I'm going to put this reminder of who we are. It's Unico, baby. It's Unico. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. We're here. We're alive. We're done. It's almost in a day. It is Thursday. We're here to make it happen. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So the next point I was trying to get to is under that process, basically, you've gone maybe already 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're about to close. You're going to have to not do anything with your finances. Yeah. So the last week or the last 2 weeks of your loan processing, they double check and triple check that you have not gone over there and try to open other loans or try to acquire any more mortgages from anywhere else. They've checked that you've, still working at the same place, that you've not gotten fired, that you've not gotten any income reduction. But anyway, that's just like on a typical loan closing or a loan approval. But we were talking about DSCR loans, which are more like an investment setup on an investor loan. Okay. So I want to make that clear. I want to make that point clear. But obviously, what we are kind of giving people advice on is the processing conditions, all the documentation that they ask you for when you are doing your loan approvals. Okay, so give him a shout out and couple air horns there. I'm happy to be here. Happy to show you what the loan process is. Now, basically, once we submitted everything, we've got a loan approval. The loan goes on to the underwriting. with all the conditions that they have asked you. And by conditions, I mean like they probably ask you like, you made a $50,000 deposit here, and where did that money come from? Who gave it to you, or is it work? Are you, who did you invoice someone? Did someone pay you for a job? Blah blah blah. They have to document all that. If you make large deposits in cash, they're gonna ask you why you make those deposits, who the money, where's the money from, where'd you get the money? Like, dude, I've been saving all my life, like I'm a 40-year-old dude, man. I've been working hard, bro. I've been doing it.
I've been working so much.
So after they ask you all that, well, then you're ready to go. They're gonna submit it. They're gonna give you a approval, clear to close. Then obviously the lender contacts the title company, which hopefully it's me and your next loan, and I'll help you then sign all the documents. So then you can do the closing. Closing, yeah. Bravo, bravo. All right. So that's that. Loan processing. If you got any questions on what needs to be done to get a loan approval, remember there are several loans. There's FHA loans, there's conventional loans. Each loan has different requirements. Some ask you for a lower down payment, some ask you for a bigger down payment. Some have interest for 30 years, some have interest for a year. Sometimes loans have balloon notes, and sometimes they have ARM notes, adjustable rate notes, adjustable rate mortgage. If you have any questions or would like to know what those are, please reach out to us. My website is www.unicotitle.net. My email is roberto@unicotitle.net. I'll try to put it out here for you guys. Appreciate the time. I am going to be talking about next week about construction, building, permits, planning, development. That's going to be my next topic. I am doing some of that on my own right now, and I'm still kind of messing with this deal. I'm going to get better. I'm trying to get some visuals for you guys on the show here. So thank you for bearing with me and keeping me in your ear. Anyway, let me see what else I wanted. I was looking for a quote. I'm trying to leave you guys with a quote every time. I didn't have my freaking notes on me right now, but I was trying to remember exactly what it said. Well, at the end of the day, my thoughts are, and that's what the quote was talking about, which I'll have it next show, but it was talking about how we live in such a fast pace that we are not living the moment that we have. And somewhere along the lines that we just are not tuned in into our lives. And it's very important that we tuned in into every second and every movement that we do in our lives. All right. So that's that. I'm going to leave you with our ending tunes. I appreciate you guys. I love the fact that I am getting better at doing this whole podcast. I've had a couple new music or a couple of sound effects, right? So, basically I'm going to keep improving for you guys, giving you more shows. And please keep your mental health on check. That shit ain't no joke. All right? So,
Thank you for being here. We're about to close. Please grab your last items and come to the register. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Peace. In the Middle East.